So Be'ez Hashem will continue with the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, Torah, Amud HaTefilah, the pillars of prayer, the pillar of prayer. So in Oisid Zion, in the 17th entry, it's a repeat, really, what we learned already before, from Sivas or Yivash, but here it's a teaching from the Degel Machne Ephraim, the grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and it's basically essentially a repeat of everything that we learned before. So it talks about the Oilamus and Shamas Alakus, the worlds, souls and divinity. So we're not going to repeat it. So remember, as we recall, this collection is a collection of many different teachings of Baal Shem Tov from different sources. So sometimes they're a repeat of the same teachings that's found in different books. So we'll start with 18. Amar Rabbi Baal Shem Tov, Tzoyer Tas L'Teva, Sheyimaner HaTeva, Tzoyer Tas L'Teva, you should place an illuminating window or gemstone in the ark. So the Baal Shem Tov says, Sheyimaner HaTeva. What does it mean? Teva, remember, refers to the ark, but also refers to the words that a person is speaking. Sheyimaner HaTeva, a person should make lichtik, should illuminate the words that he's saying. Amud HaTefilah, what does it mean? Amud HaTefilah, it should slope and peak at the top. Amma comes from the word, like we mentioned previously. Amma comes from the word Ima. Ima means mother, divine mother, which refers to the Shechina, the higher level of being of the Shechina. Pirush, what does this mean? That we give mazon, food, to the Shechina from the highest levels. What does this mean? This is the teaching. This is the end of the teaching. That through the idea of davening, through the idea of prayer, through speaking the words of tefillah, speaking the words of prayer, we're giving mazon, we're giving sustenance to the Shechina Kaviyachol, to the presence of the Shechina, the divine presence in this world. What does this mean? So, the idea of the Shechina, and we spoke about this previously, the idea of the Shechina is that there is the presence. The Shechina is Shechenes u'mislabeshes. The Shechina is the divine presence that is vested and permeates within creation. There's a state of the Shechina where the Shechina is in a revealed state, that the Shechina is in a redemptive state, and then there's the process, there's a state of the Shechina, the divine presence within this world, which is in a state of Galus HaShechina, the exile of the Shechina. What does it mean that it's in the exile of the Shechina? Now, simply, what the Gemara talks about in the Megillah, that Kol Makom Shekol Shechina Imam, and the Gemara speaks about, the Talmud speaks about, where the Shechina goes with Klal Yisrael into exile. This literally refers to some type of literal idea that the Shechina is going with us. But the deeper understanding of this is that the Shechina itself is in Galus, that the Shechina itself is in a state of exile. What does that mean? So there's an idea of Iker Shechina, there's an idea that in the state of Gan Eden, in the state of paradise, in the beginning of creation, the Iker Shechina, the Shechina was present in this world, and then there's the exile of the Shechina. The Shechina is not fully revealed in this world. There's Istalkus HaShechina. The Shechina is not present. So let's understand this in a very literal sense, what this means. There is the transcendence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the Creator, so to speak, or the infinity, something that's transcendent of creation, and then there's the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of the Creator, that come and is vested within every single particular thing of creation. That's the Shechina's presence. That's the Shechina. The Shechina is something that's yored, that enters in every specific thing. When the world is in a state of perfection, meaning when there is no illness, no death, no suffering, everyone is living their maximum potential, everyone has perfect relationships, everyone has health, and Bona, Chayim, Zoina, everyone has sustenance and good health and children, and all the blessings that they need in their lives to function. When a person's in this ultimate maximum potential realization, that's when the Shechina Kaviyachol is in its perfect state. The Shekhinah is the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the light of the Creator that comes invested within creation. The Shekhinah's light, in its state of its perfected state, desires to be expressed completely in the form of creation in its perfection. The moment there is an imperfection in creation, whether a person is suffering physically or mentally or emotionally, whether there's death and destruction and hardship, whatever the reality is, that's the world is not functioning in its perfect possible state. That means that the Shekhinah, the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the light of the Creator that has to be vested and revealed within that particular thing, is not coming out correctly or cannot express itself correctly. So, for example, let's say a person breaks his leg, God forbid. That's a simple accident. A person breaks his leg. The Shekhinah, the light of the Shekhinah that's in the person's leg, is in its correct state, is that the leg is healthy, the person is walking correctly, and everything's working in its perfect state. When there is a breaking of that vessel that doesn't allow for the light of the Shekhinah to be revealed through that leg, that means that the Shekhinah then is kolani meroishi. There's a pain, there's a tsara Shekhinah, there's the pain of the Shekhinah because the Shekhinah cannot express itself correctly. I'll give you an analogy of this idea. Let's say, for example, a person can't speak. Let's say a person has a sore throat and they can't speak. And they're sitting within a conversation with other people. And people are saying something that you know that is incorrect. And you want to express yourself and you want to say it. And you want to tell the people that what you're saying is incorrect. If you don't have the capacity to say it, for whatever reason, because let's say you're in the middle of davening, or for some other reason you can't speak, or maybe you're sick and you can't speak, the pain of knowing that you want to express yourself and you could theoretically express yourself, which means you understand how it should be expressed, but you don't have the capacities, you don't have the medium to express yourself, that creates a tremendous amount of pain. That's the tsar. So the tsar Shekhinah, the galus of Shekhinah, is the exile of the Shekhinah. This is what the Shekhinah, the dibur is in exile, the speech is in exile, the divine speech that animates creation, that gives life to creation. Basar Maris Nivrolim, which is the animating force that exists within creation, should express itself completely. When it says that the sun should shine, the light of the words of the divine words, it says the light should shine, then the sun should shine, and the person should be, a human being should be, then the human being should be healthy and happy and perfect. In whatever perfection we understand that. So the idea of the Shekhinah is that the suffering of the Shekhinah, the pain of the Shekhinah, is that the Shekhinah cannot express itself correctly. So when a person is davening and saying that there's a person that needs healing, or a person needs sustenance, or a person needs a redemption, or a person needs mechila, or forgiveness, whatever the person's state is, and a person is not functioning in a perfected state, so the Shekhinah cannot express itself correctly. That's the pain of the Shekhinah. That's the tsar of the Shekhinah. It's the urge to express itself, but it doesn't have the proper vessel. So in its proper vessel, again, if the Shekhinah is in its proper revealing, that it's in its fullness, when the Shekhinah would be revealed, that means that things are functioning in its correct way. You know, when you say that zachu, that a man and a wife, a husband and a wife, when they have a good marriage, the zachu Shekhinah b'neim, the Shekhinah is resting in this home. Or sometimes when there's a good relationship, the Shekhinah is present. What does that mean? When things are functioning in the correct form, when you walk into a person's home and the home is functioning the way a home should function, that the parents of the home are getting along and they're loving each other and they're expressing love to their children, and all the children are happy and dressed well and fed, and the home is functioning in its correct way, then the Shekhinah is resting in that place. What does that mean? We see that the perfection, of course, on some level, the perfection of this relationship is working. So the light of a presence of Hashem that's supposed to be revealed in the relationship, or relationship with parents and children, is revealed correctly, and that's the Shekhinah's presence there. When people are in a relationship, like spouses are in a relationship, and they're quarreling with each other and they're not getting along, and God forbid, the Shekhinah is not there because the relationship is not functioning correctly. So therefore the Shekhinah is in exile. The Shekhinah is not allowed to express itself. The Shekhinah is the light that is expressed within every single situation and reality of this world. So if it's a person's health and a person is not healthy, then the Shekhinah is in exile. The Shekhinah has not revealed itself correctly. If a person is deformed, then the Shekhinah is, God forbid, not express itself correctly. And a person doesn't have parnasa, doesn't have livelihood, then the Shekhinah in the reality of livelihood is not expressed correctly. So now, when a person davens, when a person prays, the idea of davening, like we spoke about before from the teachings of Baal Shem, is davening is a co-creative process, is a shoot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'ma'aseh. We become co-creators with the Creator in the creating the reality. So when we say Slach lanu v'ni chatanu, forgive us for we have sinned, and then we say Chana Ma'aretz Lech, Hashem is a forgiver, or Hashem is a Goel Yisrael, Hashem is the Redeemer, and Hashem is Reifach Olam Yisrael. Hashem does bring healing. We're not only speaking about past tense or the possibility, we're saying that right now there is healing that's coming down into this world. There is forgiveness that's coming down into this world. There is sustenance that's coming down into this world. The process of actually speaking the words of davening, speaking the words of prayer, speaking the words, saying the languaging of these words and saying Hashem is a healer. Present tense is we're drawing down healing through those words, through the process of healing. Where are we bringing down healing? We're bringing down healing into the entire world. Not necessarily specifically, but a healing is opening up. A healing path is opening up into this world. A sustenance path of refuah, of sustenance, is brought down into this world. That's what we're doing when we're praying. So what we're really doing on a deep level is we're giving mazon la Shekhinah, we're giving sustenance to the Shekhinah. We're giving sustenance, we're feeding the Shekhinah, we're allowing the Shekhinah's presence through our process of participation of davening, of prayer, we're allowing for healing to be revealed. And the more healing there is in this world, and the more sustenance, and the more people are in a happy and a healthy state, both physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and on all levels of their being, the more the world is functioning in its perfected state, in its messianic and its Gan Eden state, and its paradise state, the more the world functions in that level, the more the Shekhinah's presence is being revealed. Just like we say in a home of a person, you say that the Shekhinah should rest in this place, or should rest in this action. When we see the Asharas HaShekhinah, the revealing of the Shekhinah means that the thing is functioning correctly. That when the tree is giving out its beautiful fruit, and it's not a dead tree, and it's a healthy tree, that means there's Asharas HaShekhinah. We see the Shekhinah's presence in that tree. And when a relationship is working correctly, when a person has health, and a person has wealth, and a person has everything that they need in their life, you say that this person, the Shekhinah is resting on this person. The Shekhinah is revealed in this particular area in this life, in this person's life, where things are actually working out. So the process of davening itself is not just a bakasha, a request that it should be, that we should be healed, and the world should be healed. And people should be in a healthy and a happier state. That people should be forgiven and feel forgiven, and should see themselves as righteous. That we're not just asking that this should be this way, Yehi Ratzon, and it should be the will of Hashem that this should be this way, but we're drawing this down through the act of davening itself, through the act of prayer itself. So therefore, when a person is davening, when a person is praying, says the Baal Shem, we're giving mazon la Shekhinah, we're giving sustenance to the Shekhinah. This is Ois Yud Ches. This is the entry 18. The next piece is from the Oyer Meir. The quotes also the Baal Shem. Shemaiti b'shem Baal Shem shepirush. I heard the name of the Baal Shem. The Oyer Meir was a Talmud of a student of the Magid, which is a student of the Baal Shem. I heard the name of the teacher of the Baal Shem Tov that he said Tzoyet Asal Teva. Tzoyet Asal Teva should be lichtig. It should be illuminated. What does that mean? It should be illuminated. Lirois ulistakalima meroisha oilam vatsoifoi. That when a person davens, a person prays, or a person learns Torah, they should be able to see from one end of the world to the other. Lirs is talking about Moshe. What does that mean? That you can see from one end of the world to the other. Now, of course, this is talking about a very high madrega, a very high level, which speaks about many tzaddikim, like Pinson of Karetz and other tzaddikim, that if someone asked them a question, should I do this business deal or not do this business deal? Is this the right place to move or the wrong place to move? Something like that, something very mundane or trivial maybe. Pinson of Karetz and other big tzaddikim would open up a sefer, open up a book, let's say a book of the Zohar. They would read a little bit of the Zohar, and then they would give the answer. Now, what they found in the book is not it's not the idea of finding a verse that's consistent with what the Gemara also mentions. It's not that type of finding something within the sefer, within the book, that would be connected to the question that was being asked. But what is actually being done? What is being done is, the understanding is that there's there's a light. There's Or Agonas, is Niglas B'Torah. There's a light the light that's hidden within the Torah. And when a person learns Torah, they should connect to the light of the Torah. And by connecting to the light of the Torah, they're connected to something that's transcendent. And through connecting to something that's transcendent, they can actually answer a question about, they can see from one end of the world to the other, and it means answer a question of whether a person should move to this location or to the other location. What this means maybe is beyond the scope of understanding, but on some level what this means is as follows. Within Torah and within Tefillah, these are both true. In Torah, with learning Torah, there is a conversation about Torah Lishma, that a person has to learn Torah Lishma. Torah Lishma means Torah for the sake of Torah. What that actually means is a very big debate already amongst the Rishonim, Rabbeinu Yonah, the Rosh, and the Gemara and the Dharam. There's a long conversation about this, what exactly Torah Lishma means. Does it mean for the sake of the Torah itself, for the sake of learning itself, for the sake of the Gishmak of learning, the Cheshik of Torah? Does it mean connected to the Noisan of Torah, the giver of the Torah? But according to the Baal Shem, and the Agdam Vangelitali says that it's consistent with the other Rishonim as well, but according to the Baal Shem Tov, the simple idea of Torah Lishma, learning Torah Lishma, Torah for the sake of Torah, learning for the sake of learning, is L'Shem Dveikus, to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connect to Hashem. And the Baal Shem Tov writes in Tzivos HaRavash, he teaches many times, the Baal Shem says that even when a person is learning Gemara, for example, a person is learning Torah, they should pause once in a while as they're learning a deep conversation. Let's say a person's in the middle of a deep sugya, a deep topic of learning. They should pause for a few moments and think about the Noisna Torah, the giver of the Torah, that it's Hashem's Torah, that it's Torah Hashem, that a person's learning the Torah of Hashem. And that is Torah Lishma. Torah Lishma means you're learning L'Shem to connect yourself with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Like it says about the Alter Rebbe that Baruch Hu wants want to say something negative about the Alter Rebbe, and he came into the room and he saw that the Alter Rebbe was learning Torah, and let's say he was learning Shleimach is Metalis. Let's say he was learning this. Okay, two people are holding on to a talis, and he was saying the way the Alter Rebbe was learning was that Hashem says Shleimach is Metalis. If two people holding a talis, this person said I found it, this person said I found it. So the Hashem says the law is that when two people are holding a talis, this is the law, which means that he was saying that the Eibusha says, Hashem says, and this is the Ratzon Hashem, this is the will of Hashem. And they said when he heard the Alter Rebbe learning Torah like this, he said he's not going to argue with him. Which means that's the idea of Torah Lishma. Torah Lishma is the same Dveikus for the purpose of Dveikus, of connection, and connecting to something that's hard. To learn Torah, to get to the Moirish of Torah, Machzil Mutav, there's the Mor, there's the Or of the Torah. The light of the Torah. The light of the Torah is the presence of Hashem, and to learn Torah Lishma is to connect with the light of the Torah. This idea is not only with regards to Torah, but also regards to Tefillah. That it's brought down in Chesed Avram, for Avram Azalai, a grandfather of the Chidah, a famous Makubal, that the Chesed Avram brings down in Mayim Beis Nar Mem Dalad. The Chesed Avram says that a person, when they speak the words of davening, they speak also the words of Torah, that the mamshech have to draw down the oir and soif into the oisius, the light into the letters. Okay, let's unpack this idea a little bit and understand this basically what we were from the ideas that we were speaking about previously. Spoke about there are four levels. There's the world, the way it exists within the world of Bria, in the world of creation, which is the place of substance, which is the place of oisius, the letters themselves. So A is one pocket of energy, as if. Ba, which is the letters of the Aleph base, but not the fullness of the Aleph base. The actual sound, the one sound of A, is one type of sound, one type of quality of divine flow, a particular thing, but it's substance. In the world of Yitzira, in the world of formation, is when the Aleph comes together with the base, for example. So now it's not just A, Ba, but it's Av. And it spells the word for father, and that's the meta root of the idea of an actual father. So everything originates in the world of Atzilus. In the world of Atzilus, in the world of unity or emanation, not creation, which is separation, but emanator and emanation, the world of Atzilus, which is exile, one, unity, close. In the world of unity, we're not talking about a hierarchy in a literal sense, but a deeper perspective, an inner perspective. In the inner world of Atzilus, everything is just Or. There's only Or. There's only the light of Hashem. There's Or Ein Sof, infinite light. This infinite light, this is the Shefa, this is the source of life. This is the source of all living things, of all creation. This infinite light does not have yet form. When it becomes into a letter, when it enters in the world of Bria, it has a particular form of an A sound, or a Ba sound, or a Ga sound, an Aleph, a Beis, and a Gimel. These are the letters. So the way they exist within the world of Atzilus is that they exist as one Or, one light. The way it exists within the world of Bria already, in the world of creation, is when they're becoming particular. So it's this sound, and this light and that light. This shefa, this type of light will create. And then when you have this type of light, and this particular light, and this particular light, in unison, as a formation, then you have, let's say, an Aleph and a Beis creates a father. But the root of the Aleph and the Beis is really the root of the letters. The root of the teva, of the word, is the letters. And the root of the letters is the infinite Or that exists within Olam Atzilus, within the world of Atzilus. So this is what the Baal Shem Tov is saying. The Baal Shem Tov is saying is when a person speaks words of Torah, speaks words of Tefillah, of davening, or learning Torah, you have to understand, and you have to have this in your consciousness, in your mind, that you're speaking words that are comprised of letters. Words is already a form, a more particular form that says Baruch. It's a specific form that means blessing, but it's really a composite of Beis, Reish, and Chaf, which is three particular qualities of Ba, Reish, and Chaf. When they come together, it says blessing, but each individual thing has its own quality within its own, which is in the world of Bria. And then there is the root of that, which is the place of the light which exists within the Olam Atzilus. Like we spoke last week, the Baal Shem Tov actually says a person should do this when they're davening. That when a person is davening, you should first speak the words, then, which is in a very pronounced way, then you should connect to the words on a more subtle way, and then connect to even a more subtle place, which is the words, the way it exists within your thought, and then the way the idea exists in pure thought, which is you're elevating yourself from the place of form to the formless. And so you're drawing it both from the bottom up and the top down. From the bottom up is the process of actually davening. You're going from sound to silence, from words and expression into inner subtle states of consciousness and subtleties of mind. So it's working from the bottom up, and also in the reverse, coming from the top down, which is I am connected when I'm davening and when I'm learning. When I'm saying the words of Tefillah, what I'm really connecting to is to the Or Ein Sof, that infinite light. I'm connecting to the infinite light that's being revealed in pockets of letters that creates words, that creates structures, that creates meaning. But what I'm really connected to, in its root, is I'm having the dveikus of connecting to the Ein Sof. So when a person there's another way of saying it is that there's dvekas al yidei oisis, dvekas shelo yidei oisis. The dvekas al yidei oisis is dvekas through the letters. Dvekas shelo yidei oisis is in simple language it would mean I'm living with a sense of being in the noichus pnei Hashem, in the presence of Hashem, or shavisi Hashem l'negdusami. I'm aware that I'm standing in the presence of God. I'm standing in the presence of Hashem. The presence of Hashem is not a literal sense and doesn't have form. It's infinite formlessness. And this is what I'm connecting to, or I'm actually part of also as well on a deeper level. And I have this strong awareness of that's what I'm doing in davening through Ava V'yir V'dvekus, which we're going to see soon, through love and awe and the state of dvekus, of unity, connecting to that light. So when a person prays, when a person davens from the state of being in a state of noichus, just becoming aware that I'm standing in the presence of the infinite creator, and this is what I'm really connected to, that's being expressed in this world through form, through first letters and then through words and then through structures and through sentences and then through manifestation into this physical world, but I'm really connected to the Or. So so the Baal Shem Tov is saying is when a person connects himself to this Or, since the Or is infinite, this light is infinite, and is the potential of everything, therefore, theoretically, and this should actually be this way, when a person connects to the Or, they should be connected to everything and all potentiality. And if a person is connected to all potentiality, they should be able to see from one end of the world to the other, because they can see everything that will eventually emerge from that place of silence, from the place of subtlety, from the place of transcendence, of perfect, infinite light, into the world of all the finitude. So when Pinchas Karetz opens up a sefer, a Zohar, and reads the Zohar, he's reading the words. He's reading the words, like the Bnei Yissaschar writes. He's reading the Or Shchura. He's reading the black letters to get to the Eish Levana, to get to the white fire. He's reading the black fire to get to the white fire. He's reading the letters to get to the place of the transcendence of the letters, to get to the white fire, the space within there, which is the white space that from which the dark fire emerges from. So by connecting to the black fire, reading the black fire, and connecting through that to the white fire that exists deeper within the letters, and the root of the letters, the silence through which the emergence of sound, or the colorless through which the emergence of colors emerges, they're connecting to something that's infinite. And if you're connecting to something that's infinite, to the shayrish, to the root, a person is possible to see from one end of the world to the other. What that means on a very, very practical level, whether you're going to see from one end of the world or not, is already, of course, related to other 1,000 different things in a person's personal avodas Hashem, whether a person's edel and is refined and is Baal Midas, and a person is a Sumer Avasitoy, whatever. There's a lot of other conversations that has to be taken into account. But what it means, at least Lashon Kerakenu, for a person to think about this, what this means when a person davens is that when a person starts to daven, a person starts to pray, they should tell themselves this for one moment, or throughout the prayer, they should say this, tell themselves, like the Baal Shem Tov would say with regards to learning, is that I am now wanting to connect with the infinite light of Hashem. That's what I want now. I want to be in the presence of the infinite light of Hashem. And how we can induce the state, the Baal Shem Tov is going to have techniques, and we're going to see later, God willing. And if you look at Baal Shem HaTefilah and Vaschana, in Ekev and Vaschana, he speaks about this at length, that how a person could get to that place to secure some type of awareness of that. When a person induces himself to that state that they're standing in the presence of the infinite creator, that's the nekuda, that's the point. And then they're going to speak the words, they're going to say the words of tefillah from that place. So when you do that, what you're really connecting is to the Or. That's really what the Chesed Avram is saying, is the idea is to mamshech the Or and soif into the Oisius, to draw down the light within the letters. Okay, one more. We'll do one more teaching. Baal Shem Tov Pirush, this comes from Tolas Yitzchak. Tzor Tazal Teva, Tzor Lashon Leira. Tzor means lichtik, it should be lit up. That the Teva Lashon Dibur, Teva comes from the word Dibur. Dibur means speech. Pirush, Kishi Sor, it's a daber Dibur, when a person wants to say words of davening, words to say of Tefillah, a person has to see that the thought process, the machshava, the thoughts of a person should first illuminate what he's about to say b'dibur. That the thought should illuminate the speech that you're about to say. Because machshava, the word machshava, thought, in Hebrew has the letters that say chashav ma, to think ma, what, or nothingness. What is he saying? So, there's two ways to understand this. The simple way to understand this is that the Baal Shem Tov is saying that we have to think about what we're going to say before we say it. There's a big conversation amongst the Paiskim. Exactly when are we supposed to, when a person is to have kavana, not kavana kololis, but kavana pratis, not general kavana, general intention, but specific intention while you're praying, while you're davening. When are you supposed to have that kavana? At what point? So if you look simply in the Shulchan Aruch, in the Code of Jewish Law, if you look in Siman Hey, in the laws that speak about pronouncing Hashem's name, or in Siman Samach Chalaf in the laws of Krishma, or in Siman Tzadik Ches in the laws of Shemon Esrei, you'll see the way the simple in the Shulchan Aruch, the way it's written, it's suggesting that a person is machaven, thinks about what they're saying while they're saying it. So while you're saying the words that you're saying, let's say Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed you're the source of blessing, Hashem. So while you're saying Baruch, which is blessing, you're thinking what blessing means. While you're saying Ata, you're thinking what it means to speak to Hashem as you, indirect. What Hashem, what does the word Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei mean? Whatever your machav, whatever your intentions are, you're thinking about what those words mean, which means you're having intention while you're saying the words. There are other Rishonim, famously the Ramban in his letter to his son, that he wrote to his son from Eretz Yisrael, also Rabbeinu Chaim Vayikra Chav Daled Yud, which is a student of the Ramban, write that when you daven, when you pray, when you speak the words of tefillah, you should have intention before you say the words. Not while you're saying the words. So before you're about to say Baruch Atah Hashem, pause for a moment and think about what does it mean, blessed you Hashem, or you're the source of blessing. Then you say Baruch Atah Hashem. In the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, not this teaching only, but in many, many teachings from the Baal Shem, which we're going to see further on, the Baal Shem is very adamant that a person should have intention, kavanah, before they actually speak the words. And the reason for that is, there are multiple reasons for this. One reason is that when a person is speaking the words and having intention, it's possible that there should be a bilbul. It's possible that there should be a confusion. That's a very simple reason. So sometimes it's much better for you to think what you're about to say than say it. Not as you're saying it, you're thinking about what you're saying. That's one simple reason. Another reason is because, and this is what the Baal Shem Tov writes very clearly, if you're thinking what the word Baruch, let's say for example, what the word blessing means while you're saying the word Baruch, then you're automatically diminishing the word Baruch to mean exactly what you're thinking about. Let's say the word Ata, you, which is, or Baruch, let's look at Baruch, as we're using the example of Baruch. Baruch is bless. If while you're saying the word Baruch, you're thinking blessing, then you just defined the entire word to mean only that, which means you just gave a description, a confined description of what these three letters mean, Baruch Resh, Beis Resh Chaf, which is, what does it mean? It means exactly blessing. But Baruch means so much more. The word blessing, just take the words Beis Resh Chaf, can mean multiple things. It can mean, yes, it does mean the word blessing, but what does the word blessing mean? Blessing comes from the word birkayim, which is a person's knees. So it means that it's humility. Blessing comes from the word berach, which means the idea of lahavrich, to connect. So the idea of blessing is that you're connecting yourself. Blessing comes from the word Beis Resh Chaf, which is Beis Resh and Chaf are both the second letters, number 2, 20, and 200. And 222 also means a numeric value. So there's infinite amount of meaning to what the word Baruch means. So if I say the word Baruch and have intention, my specific intention, what the word Baruch means, and then I say the word Baruch, what I'm drawing down is only the specific intention of what I think this word means. But if I have intention Baruch before I say that the word is blessing, then I say the word Baruch. So when I say the word Baruch, I say, Hashem, whatever the word Baruch means, I'm not actually literally saying this, but this is my intention. Whatever the word Baruch means, in its infinite amount of capacity and potential, what the word Baruch means, that's what I mean when I say the word Baruch. So I meant when I have my intention before I'm having my intention what Baruch means. And then when I'm saying the word Baruch, I'm saying, while I'm reciting these words Baruch, I don't have any intention anymore. Hashem, whatever the intention of what this word has to mean, whatever the Kavanah Sarashash, Kavanah Sarizal, Kavanah Smal Shem, whatever the highest level of intention what this word mean, that's what I'm drawing down with the words Baruch. That's another reason why you should have intention before you say the word. And experientially, since the Torah of Shem once that a person should enter Baal HaTefilah, a person should enter into the words, into the sounds, into the vibrations, into the actual experience of davening. When you say Baruch, you should sense within your entire body the word Baruch, blessing. You should feel it, Baruch, and you should feel it with all your with the entire being. If a person is going to have intention, kavanah, while they're saying the words, the intention is not going to allow you to actually be in the experience. The moment a person is thinking about being in an experience, they're not actually having the experience. If you're listening to music, and it's a beautiful music, and you're dissecting music, and you're aware of yourself listening to the music, then you're not actually being in the experience of music. The only way to be in the experience of music is you lose yourself into the music, and then later, after you come into the experience, you say, what did I just experience? Because mind is an overlay that separates ourselves from the experiences of life. If we're always thinking about what we're experiencing, then we're not actually experiencing it, because we're thinking about experiencing it. We're thinking about what the experiences is. So the thinking itself, the mind itself, separates us from the experience, from the actual experience. So the Baal Shem Tov says, if you want to say the word Baruch and you want to experience the word Baruch, you can't have intention now. The intention has to be before. So the intention is before you have this, what you're going to want to say. Then while you're saying it, there's no bilbil, there's no confusion. There is the opening yourself up to whatever this word means in its infinite variations, and then you're actually experiencing what the word Baruch is. This is what the Baal Shem Tov wants you to daven. The Baal Shem Tov wants you to pray in a way that you're entering fully with the Noiches Pnei Hashem, with Ava V'yira, with the presence of being in the infinite light, in the presence of the infinite light, and with Ava love, with tremendous amount of love and passion and awe, like we're going to speak what these things mean actually according to the Baal Shem. And then when you're saying the words, you're entering it fully and you're feeling it in your entire body. That's the way you're going to experience tefillah. So that's one way to understand this. And we're going to talk more about Riches in greater length further on how this actually works. But this is one way to read this teaching of Hashem. But the issue is that if that was the idea, then it should have said clearly that you should think before you speak. But it says, Shemachshava toyer ba'adibur, that the machshava should be illuminate the words. Again, the very, very simple meaning, which means is that when you think before you speak, then the words you're actually speaking becomes illuminated. Okay, that's clear. But then he adds, Ki machshava oisis chashav ma, because machshava is the word of chashav ma, thinking of nothingness, of emptiness, of what? Of potential. So the Baal Shem Tov is actually saying something even more deep, or something different. Besides the fact that he's saying that you have to speak, you have to think before he's saying the words, what he's saying is that you always have to connect to the or, to the infinite light. It's literally the same teaching that we said before from the Chesed Lavram. You have to connect yourself to the light always. And the light, the machshava, the thought, is not only a thought of the particular thing. what this word means. But the thought process is the subtle inwardness that allows us to experience, which he said before, the machshava is the ayin. The machshava, the thought, is the level of the ayin, and the ayin, the level of the nothingness, or the emptiness, is the level of the or, the light. So a person should always connect themselves with the light of the experience that they're speaking in the words of davening. So yes, we're going to say the words of davening and the words of tefillah, and they're going to be very specific, and we're going to enter them fully. Baruch is going to be a full-bodied experience of what the word Baruch means, but we're always connected, we're always, by preceding saying the word and fully being embodied by saying the word and feeling the entire word with our entire sense of our being, with everything that we are, with everything who we are, with our entire essence, and all our bones should feel this experience. Before we say the words, every time pause, like we said last time, maybe every 3 words, or maybe before every blessing, pause to connect yourself with the light. The light is the infinite presence that you're present within, and you're present and you're connected with dvekus, with the oir. And then you're saying, from that place of the oir, from the place of the lightness, of light, of connectivity, of dvekas, of unity, I'm going to express this now, this unity, this oneness, this connectivity, I'm going to express it now in words, in the words of form and formation, in the words of Aleph, Beis, Gimel, in the words of Beis, Reish, Chaf, the way they're first to be connected as a Beis and a Reish and a Chaf, and then they're going to come together as a letter and become embodied. So you're really moving in and out of states. You're connecting always with the level of dvekas, of oneness, of unity, of adhesion, which to connect to the oir, to the light, and then you're expressing the words. And we'll see later that when a person davens this way, when a person prays this way, when they're connected to the oir, at least the machshava, the thought process, that's what you have to, the noichus pnei Hashem, that you're standing in the presence of Hashem, koim lifnei hamelech, that you're standing in front of the king, to come with that realization, then the words, even though they become embodied, they naturally, almost organically flow out of you. They tumble out of your mouth, so to speak. We'll see soon how that works exactly. Okay, we're going to end here. And Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, with Hashem's help, we'll continue with Ois Chaf Aleph, entry 21. Have a wonderful week. Good luck.